Hi guys, it's Shani from Yiannimize, and today we are shooting a very different video. So behind me, I've got a Scania truck. Now at Yiannimize, we've been speaking about something that happened recently. You might have seen a Royal Mail truck pushing a Golf down the A40. So we've been arguing. Some people think it's real, other people think it's fake. Today I've called on a friend of mine called Daniel, who owns Ashville, who owns a load of these trucks. So we're going to see if it's possible for the driver to not be aware that he's pushing a car with the front of his truck. Let's get in the truck and let's have a look. So I've just got in the cabin. I'm with Daniel, who's the owner of Ashville. Also, if you click here, you can see the video of me doing donuts at his yard with my Porsche. So this is the first time I've been in one of these. It's actually very big inside, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's nice and big. It's got all the mods and cons, very comfortable for the driver. You know, hopefully happy driver is a lot happier on the road, we hope.
Okay, so I'm looking around, I'm seeing there's mirrors everywhere.
We've got 6 mirrors. Probably for what we're doing, the important mirrors are your front mirror here, which shows you the front of the cab, and your curb side, also known as your near side mirror, on this side, so you can look down. So these mirrors are put in place to cover your blind spots.
Okay, so obviously for cyclists, and obviously you've got a car pulling up next
cyclists,
to you.
Basically any cars, any vulnerable road users, these are the mirrors which you have a quick look at before you pull off at any point.
The initial thing that I've seen before we get into it is that mirror there is showing the front of the cabin.
It does, yeah. That mirror shows the front of the cabin. It's a mirror that you need to continually check as you're driving the entire time. I mean, when you pull off, you glance at that mirror. When you pass a junction, you have a look at that mirror. Like you live by your mirrors. It's all about vision when you're in the cab of the lorry.
But this is already raising red flags for me, saying, well, how did the Royal Mail driver not see the Golf in front when that mirror there clearly shows the front of the cabin? Obviously that camera there is picking up the whole cabin. Yeah. So they can see exactly what it's like in here. You've also got cameras as well, haven't you? So
we have got cameras. If we have a look here, we've got left hand side, right hand side, and we've got a camera also in front. We've also got a driver camera, which is here, just above your head. A driver camera which the driver can't see, but it's on the driver. So should the worst happen and we're trying to assess what happened, we can actually have a look at what the driver was actually doing.
So if he was on his phone, for example, if he was drinking or eating.
I didn't say that. But
no, yes, but that's yes. The whole idea.
Yeah,
it protects you as a business owner.
It protects a business owner, and it also protects the driver in a way as well, because it shows that the driver was paying full attention, he was wearing his seatbelt, and it protects everyone.
For insurance purposes.
Yes. I just want to point out as well, the vehicle involved in the accident, that was a DAF tractor unit, and this is a new generation Scania tractor unit.
Okay.
So they are the same sort of lorry, but this is a newer one.
I actually wish I could drive this. I don't have a HGV license, class 1, but Daniel does. So even though Daniel's the owner, he obviously took all his tests and everything, so if he needs to ever go out, he can do. I've got my Range Rover in front and my Lambo to the right, so...
yeah, no pressure.
So me sitting here, I'm just looking at the mirrors. There is some great, you've actually got great angles. You can actually see everything that's around you.
You can, yes, that's what it's designed. Everything when you're driving a lorry is about vision and awareness, absolutely everything.
And it's not that noisy inside, because that's obviously something that, when the Golf was in front of the Royal Mail truck here, and it was pushing the car down the A40, you would think that you'd be able to hear it. I understand if you have the radio on and stuff, but it's a lot quieter than I thought in here.
Yes, lorries have come a long way, and especially with these new generation vehicles. This is a 13-litre 500 brake horsepower, so this engine generally doesn't struggle. You won't hear this engine like really loud struggling, even when loaded.
Okay, but obviously with no load on the back, it is just really just light. If you were driving this and you were pushing a Golf down the A40, because it looked like they were doing what, 30, 40 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible that you wouldn't know that car was in front of you? Listen, at the end of the day, we have to be honest, okay? We're not criticizing. And I understand this is your.
Okay, as long as we're not criticizing the driver, I wouldn't throw one of my fellow drivers under the bus. But I would say if there was a vehicle in front of me, I would know. What I will say is that he was driving a tractor unit.
But this is a tractor unit.
Yeah, no, wait, hold on. He was driving a tractor unit and he wasn't pulling a load. Now, generally, if he was pulling a load, the truck would have had more resistance. So, but he wasn't pulling a load. So you could argue in his defense that if he generally pulls a load when he was pushing the car, he would have felt how he would normally feel if he was pulling, you know, if he was pulling a load behind him, but he wasn't. But all you would need to do at any point is check that mirror. This mirror would have shown it immediately. And
is that mirror standard on all trucks?
That it is now. That mirror is now standard on all trucks. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
So that we have a vehicle turning left and we have a side scan. The side scan is beeping, letting me know if anything is close to me when I'm turning left. Now, anything up to 10 miles an hour when the lorry's pulling off, my side scan lets me know if there's anything on my near side close to the lorry. So at that point, I check my curbside mirror, I check my cameras, I check absolutely everything so I can make sure I can turn safely, and I have a warning which lets people know vehicle turning left, vehicle turning left. You do have good vision here, but what is important to remember is that the driver he's also a human being. There's an element of human error, you know. I won't say that he could have been tired, because with legislation, etc., driver breaks come into it. You have to take a break every 4.5 hours from driving. You're only allowed to drive a certain amount of hours a day. So I'm not making excuses for the driver. I'm just trying to explain all the circumstances.
What we're trying to establish here is it possible that one of these lorries can be pushing a car without the driver knowing? Now, for me, who doesn't drive one of these trucks, and he's sitting in here now, I think it's virtually impossible to push a car down a road and not know about it. And when you look at the video, so they were filming it, and they said to the guy, "What are you doing, you idiot?" And he was like, "I didn't see him." How is it possible for a car to swoop in front of you? Because obviously you've still got to hit it at some sort of speed.
Yeah.
Or if you T-bone it, would it automatically just like ping in front of the car and then you just start pushing it down the road? The tyres.
What I will say, there's a difference between hitting the car when the car is not moving to hitting a car which is already moving. It must have already been moving. So what I assume has happened is that car has gone to change lanes, or he's joined the A40, and when he's joined the A40, there's been some sort of collision at some point, and it's pushed the car to the front of the lorry. If the lorry would have hit the car when it was stationary, it would have been completely different. It would have just knocked it forward, but it would have already had momentum, and then it's pushed it in front. That's what would have happened.
So literally, it's like when the police T-bone and obviously the car spins out. It's literally, obviously it's at a slow pace. It's just spun in front of it. No sort of a power that's hit the car, and it's just pushed it down the A40. Like we're on the A10 now, which is a similar road, and we're doing, how fast are we going now?
We are going 40 miles an hour.
And the speed limit is 40. It's not fast.
You drive a Lamborghini.
No, but yeah, okay, but it's not. I just can't believe it's possible for it to happen. Now, things that we're discussing at Yiannimize is, first of all, the guy driving the car is from Car Throttle. That is a car channel. Coincidence?
Ah, well.
Conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
So this is conspiracy theories. I don't know if it's 100% legit. Obviously, if it's legit, you know, I'm glad no one got hurt. But the driver, to me, didn't look that shocked. He was just sitting there like, eh. And everyone was like, "You okay, you okay?" Yeah, I'm cool. He could have been in shock, granted.
Oh, everyone thinks, oh, the driver this and the driver that, but it genuinely affects drivers as well. I would say he was in shock at that point. Genuinely, he would have been apologetic, he would have been afraid, and he would have probably been thankful that it wasn't a lot worse. So I would say the driver would be in shock. Whether it was a setup or not, I can't comment, Yanni.
Comment down below, guys, if you think it wasn't legit and it was set up, let me know. And if it was set up, wow, that's a mad dangerous thing to do. But we don't know, and this is just a video to see if it's possible. And I'm not convinced, is the honest truth. And based on that mirror there, based on the cameras, do you know what I'm gonna do? I'll tell you what we're gonna do is, let's go back to Yiannimize. I'm gonna put my car in front. Now, my Range Rover's at Yiannimize and so's my Lambo. The Range Rover to me is a bit high. And granted, the Lambo is lower than the Golf, but I'm gonna put the Lambo in front of this truck. Then we're gonna look at that mirror, we're gonna look at that camera. And just to see, I granted it is lower than the Golf. However, let's see what it looks like in front of the cabin. Obviously, I'll let you stop and I'll drive it in front of it. Let's not.
Yeah, I would say so, Yanni, because
Let's not do that to my car just before Christmas. Sitting here and having that so close to me, like touching distance, and it is noisy, and he's not even revving it up. Actually, Daniel, give it a rev. That is horrifying. That is so scary. Honestly, I'm sitting here, no word of a lie, I'm actually scared. It's that scary sitting in a car where you've got a lorry doing this to you. I'm in a low car anyway, but you feel so small against a huge truck. 7, 8 tons pushing you down a road at 20, 30, 40 miles an hour. At any point the car could flip. Whoa. Yeah, you don't want to experience this. This is not nice.
As you can see, Yanni's pulled his Lambo in front of my lorry. I think my insurance company are having a heart attack. They've probably invalidated all my insurance at the moment. Looking in my mirrors, I can see Yianni on my front mirror here. I can see him clearly. I'm going to rev my engine now. Yianni, you ready? I've got my foot fully down, just to give myself an impression of what it would be like if I was on the A40, foot down. And it is pretty loud, but I do think the force of pushing his tyres the other way, I think that I would hear it. Right, Jan? After the accident, the driver of the lorry has gone over to the driver of the vehicle and he shook his hand and asked if he's all right. A lot of people have criticised him for his reaction, but we don't know how we all react in different situations. So the first thing he did do was see if he was okay. For me, guys, as someone who drives lorries, this is terrifying. This is terrifying. If I'm to get out and I'm to see a vehicle and look at his eyes. If I'm to get out and see this, let alone for the driver, this is terrifying for me as an operator and as a lorry driver. It's terrifying to think that this could happen and to get out and see the vehicle in front of the lorry, and the lorry's not even on. The lorry's in neutral and it's in park, and I'm still terrified looking at this.
I'm terrified sitting in here, trust me. This view is horrifying. It's so scary sitting here. That is huge. I'm in a small confined space feeling that I'm fearing for my life. And honestly, this is not hyped up for the video. This is genuinely really, really scary sitting in this position. So yeah, I think I take back what I said about it could be a setup, because you ain't recreating this, mate. This is wow. Someone could die. Can I move my car now, please?
Listen, I don't know how this is going to work, because I'm not going to try and reverse the truck.
I'm going to go forward.
You're going to go, because I'm not reversing the truck, because if somehow I roll forward or something happens, I can't be held responsible.
I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here.
Mind the truck.
And breathe. Before I started filming this video, and me and Daniel had this conversation, there was loads of conspiracy theories flying about. Was it real? Car Throttle, Ellie Goulding, like literally, it was a setup. But now that we've actually driven around in the truck and I've sat in my car with the truck literally up against my door, if that was a setup, you guys are crazy.
Screw loose.
Mental. But yeah, I don't think it could have been a setup. I did genuinely believe it was too much of a coincidence, but mate, that's scary. Yeah. That's scary.
And it's even scary when you're driving the vehicle, when you're looking down, when you actually realise that they're there.
I think this video needed to be made. I'm glad that we made it. Thank you for bringing the truck down as well.
Most welcome.
Before you saw this video, what did you think? Did you think it was a setup? Did you think it was a genuine accident? This has happened before. You've seen it, I think, in China, where the truck was going at full pelt. It must have been going 40, 50 mile an hour, taking this car down the motorway. Obviously in London, it wasn't as bad on the A40. However, it was still pushing a Golf down the road. And me sitting in that truck, sitting in that cabin with all the cameras, with all the mirrors, how can you not see that car in front?
I will say, as I said before, the driver is a human being, yeah? It's not an excuse. The driver's a human being and human error. And having a look inside the truck with the Lambo in front, you can only actually see the Lambo from one mirror.
that one in front on the left.
This mirror here,
Yeah.
that is the only mirror where you can actually see the light. You can see it clearly, but there is one mirror when you can see it. So if you do glance at that mirror, you would have seen the vehicle.
But my car is a lot lower.
Yes.
And that mirror is something that you'd look at. You're a driver.
Yes.
You would look at that mirror continuously.
You have to keep glancing at the mirror the entire time. You glance all your mirrors, you look through your windscreen, you glance at all your mirrors, you glance at your cameras. You continually glance because it's all about vision. Everything driving a lorry is about vision.
I think the Golf was a dark coloured car. Obviously, if it's a red car or a white car,
Yeah.
I think it'd obviously be a lot more visual. But listen, how much? I don't believe it was a setup now. There is still things that go on in my mind thinking, he should have seen it. Ellie Goulding, Car Throttle, but
I don't know if Ellie Goulding actually likes the fact that she was there. There might be a big inconvenience for her to actually have been there.
comment down below. Was it a setup? Was it real? Was it a coincidence? Conspiracy theories, like men on the moon, I don't know.
Does it have anything to do with the Kennedy assassination?
Yeah, who knows? But listen, from myself and Daniel and the Ashville Lorry and my Lambo, we'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you like this video, share it, and we out.
And I'm going to take Yanni's Lambo back to the yard, and Yanni's going to take the truck and he's going to leave it parked up here for over the Christmas period.
Obviously, I've got a HGV Class 1 license now.
Obviously.
See ya.
Obviously.